Hello, Raya. Welcome, welcome. Oops. Turned my halo off. So, they've been really quiet for a long time now, and just literally in the last 30 seconds, big vibrating machinery has come back. So let's see how noisy that ends up being. But hi, Raya. Welcome, welcome. You are first. Congratulations. What keeps making all the noise is they run over the alley with a roller. And rollers, in addition to being heavy, vibrate in order to compact the ground as they are rolling over. So they are quite noisy and they make the house shake, or they make everything shake. But they don't do it all the time. They only do it every once in a while, but I thought we were going to be good. It doesn't seem like they're very close by. There is some vibration going on, but they're a little bit farther away. So fingers crossed you guys don't even notice it, and it's just a me problem. Welcome. Hello. Get on in here. Today, we are working with a bunch of random crap that I found hanging around. And I was trying to figure out how to put it together. And I think I've come up with a thing and then reverse engineered a name for it, which is the name in the thing there. So I've got this leak, which as you can see is a little bit dried out. Oh, there's the vibration coming. Come on, guys, don't do this right this instant. Why? You've been quiet all... Anyways, they've been quiet all afternoon. But right now, just after I pushed go, here they come. So, leak with some dried out bits. So we're going to cut the dried off bits and use the rest of it. Some chicken, which I thawed out. It's still in its vacuum packed bag. A puff pastry that has been hanging around. I did snip it open to take a peek at it to see if it was still good. It does look still good, so we're going to use it. We're going to use it up today. Some baby bok choys that I bought a big bag of, and they're going kind of wilty, so we're going to use them up. The tail end of some duck's eggs. Random stuff, like I said. Random odds and ends. I want to use things up. I want to get this stuff out of here. Our melty butter. We're going to use some butter. I'm not going to use that right away, but we're going to need some melty... In fact, I should get that out because we're going to want some softened butter. So yeah, kind of a odds and ends. I did come up with a concept to work with. I'm going to start us with some rice because I want some rice. I got everything out. Why did I get everything out? Well, to show it off. Slide over here. So, set some stuff aside. Some duck egg. Move that little board. So yeah, how's it going, Raya? What's new? We're gonna do rice in the machine. What the heck are they? Hold on, I'm gonna peek outside. Where is this thing? I see it. It's one block over, so that's why I'm just getting sort of the edge of the vibrations. I hate it. I hate it. Okay, so this guy. This is our handy dandy rice cooker. Apparently I didn't clean the starch out last time I used it, so that's a thing. Why did I do that? I got to get out some rice, which is in the other room over here. I'm not sure how much rice I'm going to need. So I'm going to make a relatively large batch, and then I will just have leftover rice. But we are going to do a rinse. So I'm going to do 2 cups of rice, and then I'll have extra rice in the event that that's too much rice. I do not want to have not enough rice. And leftover rice is one of those things that's kind of endlessly useful. So, but the rice needs to be cooled off enough that I can work with it on the puff pastry. So I don't want it to be blazing hot. So we're going to do that first so that I can let it cool off a little bit. Yeah, I get things like that too sometimes where you, but the difference with these guys is the thing moves really, really slow. So it's in that range for a lot longer. But yeah, that happens too. Although, unfortunately, the street is on the far end of the house from the kitchen, so you guys never notice that in here. The only reason you're noticing it this time is because they're working on the back alley, which is right outside my kitchen door. We're just rinsing the rice. Again, you can't really see it over here. But we've just put that quantity of rice in some cold water, and we are swirling and swirling and swirling it. And the water is becoming very cloudy. And then we're pouring off the cloudy water, keeping the rice. We'll do it one more time because that water got very cloudy. I'll bring it back even. I'll bring it back even. Because we show this off so infrequently. So it's already kind of cloudy, and there's bubbles from the starch. But we just kind of get in there and stir it around. You usually don't need to do this more than twice. If you want really loose rice, maybe do it a couple more times. But typically you don't need to do this more than twice. Usually in a smaller quantity of it, you don't need to do it more than once. Because you're only limited by how much starch the water can carry. And there. It's pretty cloudy. If I stick my hand in it, it disappears. I'm just going to pour that off. Block the rice grains with your hand so they don't go in the sink when you pour off the water. You might lose a couple, but the thing about rice is there's a lot of them. And now I've got some wet rice. Wet rice. To which we add equal part water. Bring this back over here so I don't spill water all over the place. So 2 cups of rice, 2 cups of water. I have played around with different quantities of water to determine what it does to rice. And rice will take in way more water than you think. Let's see, our rice is visible. The finger doesn't disappear when I stick it in there. Rice is visible under the water. Nice and cleanly done. But we're not done with that, because we're going to add to that, because we're doing stuff. Chicken powder. I'm going to go with half a tablespoon of chicken powder. And some garlic powder. Let's throw some garlic powder directly in there as well. Which takes this more in the direction of I'm going to do about half a tablespoon. A pilaf. We're kind of directing this into a pilaf. Give it a stir. Rice, I've seen experiments where rice will take in double or more the amount of water. It gets really mushy, but it does absorb it. You don't have a pool of water in the bottom. So just saying put in as much water as the rice will take is not very useful advice. The minimum you want to go for is typically 1 to 1. Anything less than that and your rice is probably still going to be crunchy. The best example of it probably is things like risotto, where you're putting in 5 times the liquid as the rice, and the goal is to have the rice take up all of that liquid, and it will do it. You'll end up with a really porridgey thing, but it will do it. So we are making chicken garlic rice. So if you're not familiar with the words of the things that I'm making, a cock-a-leekie is actually a soup of peppered chicken and leeks coming from Scotland. Oyakodon we've done before. I love oyakodon. It's a classic. It is the mother and child rice bowl, chicken and eggs simmered with dashi mirin, onions, a little bit of sake, very Japanese thing. The water up to your first joint there's a reason that is, it's a good rule of thumb, and there's a reason for it. It's because when you're doing it in a pan on the stove, they can't give you 1 to 1, or they can't give you perfect measurements because it will depend on how wide your pan is compared to how much volume it's got, because that affects the evaporation rate. So a narrower pot will evaporate more slowly, so they go for a ratio based on depth rather than a straight up measurement. In a thing like a rice cooker where it is a sealed container, or in a pressure cooker, likewise a sealed container, you're not losing any of your water to evaporation or to boiling it off. You might lose a little bit because obviously they vent some steam. They don't go completely perfectly sealed. But for a sealed container like that, you can do exact measurements because so little of the moisture is lost to the cooking process. And since I'm using my rice cooker, I used an actual measuring cup for it. If you're doing it on the stove, and I think that's why I always had such a struggle doing it on the stove, is because I use the measurements that I'm used to from my rice cooker, and they don't line up to the stove very well. It's interesting. It's fascinating because like I said, you can put way more liquid than your rice actually needs, and it'll take it up, and you'll end up with a different thing. That's how you make congee. That's how you make risotto. So yes, the up to your joint. Also, that's kind of a loose rule because obviously people's fingers are different sizes. So the rice is going. Let's deal with this guy next, and I'm going to get a board for it. So I bought this leek a little bit ago, and we have some drying going on. Leeks will dry out in the same way and for the same reason as other onions, because leeks are onions. The dry bits are not good eating. So we're going to peel that outer layer away. Oops, I just smacked you guys with the leek. So we're going to peel that outer layer away, discard it. There is a little bit of dirt that gets caught in between the layers of a leek. That is just a thing that leeks do when they grow, because they come up from underground, so they pick up some dirt. So the concept, what was I saying? I feel like I've already rambled off on a tangent. Cock-a-Leekie is a soup. Oyakodon is a rice bowl. And Coulibiac is a pie or a pastry. But Coulibiac frequently has rice in it at the bottom, serving the same purpose that the pancake or crepe serves in a Wellington. Coulibiacs are definitely cousin to the Wellington. A starch to absorb drippings and flavors and stuff, and to help protect the outer pastry from said drippings. So, and leek is similar to onion, which is present in Oyakodon. And yeah, that's kind of the entirety of my logic today. It's just some nonsense. So we're going to soften up these leek slices. We're going to cut up until the part where I feel it being dry again. And then we're going to peel that. I think we can get away with one more. And then we're going to peel this layer away, and we can go a little bit higher. We're going to include some actual onion as well. So how's it going, Raya? And anyone else who is here and wishes to speak out of lurk? You're probably getting up to the maximum of what I can handle. The dark green parts of the leek are often advised to be thrown away. They are edible. They just are tough, and you have to cook them out quite a bit more, which if you're willing to do, you can do. For making a soup, for example, it's really easy to cook them out. You just slice them up, throw them in early, and let them soften up. I'm not going to do that today. I'm just going to use this part of the leek, which is quite a lot of leek. You're doing okay. Good to hear. Leek. So the leek needs to be simmered to soften it up. Oop, throw the root bit away. Leek needs to be simmered to soften it up. Oyakodon is a simmered dish where you simmer the chicken and onions together. So we'll combine those concepts. We're going to throw in an actual onion. We're going to keep going through these weird flower onions. Oh yeah, it's that same kind of weird fibrous interior that we've been seeing on this entire bag of onions. I guess that means we are gonna do the thing where you leave the root together in order to give your onion some bonus structure. I hate cutting onions this way. I hate leaving the root bit together for cutting the onion, but I guess we're stuck with it. Ugh, I can't even cut. Oof, oof. Okay, well. This is fine because we're going to simmer them out anyways. See, it's the layers just don't want to hold together. Glacier, you're not first. Congratulations. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. We're dealing with these weirdly... These had to have been flowering onions, and they harvested them anyways and cut the flowers off and said, no one will notice. It's fine. Well, I noticed. It's not fine. How's it going, Glacier? Mr. Jones, Mr. Isosceles Jones. Hello, hello. Dance cooking. Indeed, indeed. Someone reads the title. Someone read the title. I see how it is. Title reader. I do not have a foot cam, so you'll just have to imagine it. There's not a lot of spaces where you can catch my feet on the floor. A little bit over... There. Tap, 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 tap. Hello, Isosceles. Mr. Jones. Welcome, welcome. Sliced up the onion, as awkward as that was. Another thing that I'm taking inspiration from the Oyakodon to fix something I don't like about one of the other things is I'm not boiling the eggs. In a Coulibiac, you're supposed to have boiled eggs sliced as part of your layer, one of your layerings. That sounds tedious. And thankfully, Oyakodon is the opposite. You don't even scramble the eggs. You just barely break the yolks and kind of swirl them together and then cook them like that. So there's bits of yolk and bits of white, which I have not done in the past, but that's like supposed to be part of the presentation. And we got 2 duck's eggs to use up, so there's going to be quite a bit of egg in here because these eggs are freaking gigantic. Here, I will compare. I will compare. Why do duck need so big an egg when small egg would do? Here you go. A chicken's egg and a duck's egg. I don't know why these things are so big. We've had them for quite a time now, though, and they need to be used. I also don't want to risk boiling those, so... Because, good Lord, trying to boil these and peel them evenly would be tough. So we're going to use both of those. We're going to get rid of this package. Duck's got some huevos, yeah. And then I want to poach the chicken in the leek onion broth. There's chicken powder in our rice. I was thinking of adding chicken powder to our poaching broth, but we could go with dashi. What do you think? Dashi would be more traditional, but I'm not, obviously not hewing to tradition here. Didn't fully think these out. Ryu says dashi. That does give us a different flavor dimension, so we aren't just doubling up on the chicken powder. Glacier agrees with dashi. Okay, I guess that's that. We'll get out the dashi. Dashi granules. I don't have fresh dashi for this. I haven't been able to find any kombu locally. So we might be on powdered dashi only until I am able to drum up some kombu. Trying to do things before I get to the stage where I want to get out the chicken. Because the chicken, obviously I need to wash stuff and avoid re-washing my hands 7 times today. Poaching the chicken. I want to pre-poach the chicken because in Coulibiac you would put in the salmon either smoked or raw, and it would cook in the process of baking the pastry. Fish cooks much more readily. Chicken, you want to make sure is cooked through. So we are going to poach the chicken because that is a gentler method that'll leave it more tender so that it can then also benefit from the cooking in the oven. Speaking of the oven, I should probably preheat my oven because I'm going to get to the point where I want to put this thing in the oven and it's going to be not hot and I'm going to be mad. Going to be big madge. Let's get that oven pre-hotified. Okay. I'm not doing the mushrooms layer because I think we're going to have enough savory elements. We don't need this mushroom savory booster. We're using chicken powder and we're using now dashi powder. I am using greens. Not every Coulibiac I've looked at calls for greens, but most of them call for a layer of typically spinach. I'm not using spinach, we're using baby bok choys because the baby bok choys are getting kind of wilty. So I'm going to cut them up, get rid of all the wilty bits, and we're just going to use whatever's left as our remainder. So we probably should cut that up next. We're doing our mise en place. We don't always do the formal full mise en place around here, but today feels like the day for it. The rumbling vibrations have stopped, so I think they were just tamping down part of the alley down there where they had been working. So, baby bok choy. As you can see, some of these have gone a little creepy. Because I like these, but I don't quite use them fast enough. We're going to get a trash bowl out for the scraps. Take the little root nubbin off, take the yellow bit of the leaves off. Trash bowl, regular bowl. Bookwoman, hi. It is quite the title. Do you know what all those things are, perchance? That's part of the challenge today. What I've concocted is, what ingredients do I have? Okay. What name can I make up that accounts for all those ingredients? I think I've done a good job of conveying what the nonsense is going to hopefully turn into at the end. You know 1 and 2. So you know Oyakodon and Cock-a-Leekie, but not Coulibiac. Well, then you might be surprised at the end how this thing ends up taking shape. because the Coulibiac is primarily the form we're working with here, whereas the Cock-a-Leekie and Oyakodon are controlling more of the flavor. Ugh. That one had a rough go. I did just explain to people who were already here what these things are and how I'm utilizing them. That'll teach you for being slightly late. Coulibiac is a pie, kind of. It's Russian. It's usually made with fish, and we're not doing it with fish today, so... Lucky us. In our case, the Oyakodon is taking the place of the fish as our protein. Kind of. But yeah, it's a less fussy Wellington style stuffed pie. And we're using bok choy in the place of what would be spinach. How's it going? I asked Ryu how it was going, and then a bunch of people showed up. So everyone other than Ryu, how's it going? What's up? What's new? What's for dinner? Okay. Baby bok choy. All the little yellow leaves and the little root butts can get composted. Okay, leek, onion, bok choy, egg. These gigantic eggs. I have discovered that cracking eggs on the edge of... I don't like cracking eggs on the edge of bowls because it breaks the shells too much and drives bits on the inside. But I have a hard time, especially with these duck eggs, cracking them on a flat because they're so tough. In addition to being bigger, they have a thicker shell and more membrane. But the edge of this cutting board isn't nearly as sharp as the edge of a bowl, but it still has enough of a corner to it to really kind of give me a good crack. Works even better on the regular old chicken's eggs. Egg. Gosh, we haven't even done any cooking yet. The time is 30 minutes already, no cooking. Where's my chopsticks? Okay. Isosceles. the places your brain goes, I cannot follow. So, egg. What we do here is we pop the yolk, kind of split the yolks, and then kind of make it globby swirls. Because we want bits of white and bits of yolk. We don't want it to all just be uniform. But we don't want solid yolks in there either. So like that. Rice, leek, bok choy, onion, egg. We're gonna puff pastry, dashi, butter. I had conceptualized this enough to put it together with the parts that I had, but I didn't fully fullify it. So I want to make sure that I'm not going to suddenly forget and panic something. Because we're going to go pastry layer, rice, bok choy, poached chicken. No, bok choy, our leek and egg mixture. Then poached chicken, top crust. Right? Because it's a layered thing. Because then when you cut into it, you get a cross section of these interesting layers. A lot of these put either the bok choy, not the bok choy, the spinach above, or a second layer of rice above to protect the top crust from the juices. We might have enough rice to do that. Onions. The onions are going in with the leeks, which are going to go in with the duck egg. Because instead of slicing up the chicken and making the full oyakodon, I am going to poach the chicken pieces and then lay them in there as their own layer, directly on top of the leek and onion and egg and broth layer. I gotta be careful not to put too much broth in there because I want that to be, I don't want to have to drain out a bunch of our flavor. But yes, thanks for reminding me on the onions. White onion. I think that's all the elements. Some butter for the outside of our thing. Herbs. I'm not putting dill in. Dill is in the original Coulibiac a lot. We do want pepper. The chicken is meant to be heavily peppered. So we will be including some black pepper. About that's probably a pretty healthy teaspoon. Quite a lot of pepper. Skipping the dill. We could throw in some thyme. I feel like we're erring in the direction of Asian flavors wherever we can. We could throw in, we've got a lot of chives. My chive is doing really, really well, so I could throw in a whole bunch of chives. I've also got scallions. I've got shiso out there. I've got scallions and shiso. I don't think basil's the right flavor for this. Sorry, I'm mumbling into my hand like I do when I think. So I got out there. I got basil, parsley. Parsley would be a good addition. Sort of give some fresh herbiness. I think we'll throw in some fresh parsley and chives. So I should go cut those. Anything else I want? Salt. Gonna have a couple of liquids. So yeah, I'm gonna step outside and I'm gonna cut some fresh herbs. Look around at the construction. Nope, the roller is parked now. The parsley's going crazy out here. I need to use more parsley. I really need to use more parsley. Wow, there's a lot of parsley out here. Good big bunchy handfuls of parsley? Sure. And a big bunchy handful of chive. And should we cut some shiso? Sure, why not? I will take the tops off of 2 shisos. Oops. I've got some fresh sage coming in out here too. Sure. I'm growing these fresh herbs. I should use them, right? Herbs. So these purple guys are our shiso, the thing that one of my neighbors planted, volunteered itself into the alley, and I have been cultivating it ever since. It's a really interesting herb. It's really hard to describe if you've never tasted it. A big bunch of our fresh homegrown parsley. I'm going to have to wash it because there's a little bit of bird duty on it. So we'll put that over there so I can rinse that guy off. And I just kind of grabbed a handful of chive and cut. So I've also got a big handful of chive here. Chives are getting to the stage where they're so long they're drooping over, so they're all a little bit floppy. They might be slightly dry from the heat as well. Although when I cut these, they produced a lot of liquid. I should probably water that guy tonight just to help counteract the fact that I did cut it in the heat, but yeah. So we don't want the stems of the shiso. I think it's going to hopefully add an interesting flavor, but we just want the leaves. Much like basil and mint, the stems are pretty tough. You can tell this stuff is related to mint, both by the way it spreads and because it has a square stem. I don't know if that's quite visible. It's focusing on my hand, but they've got square stems. Chicken... Oh, that word, pylards? Pylards. With Maui barbecue potato chip crust. That sounds delicious. PR. A slice of veal, pounded until very thin and cooked quickly. I'd call that a cutlet. But okay. We can use the French word. Fancy. I've done that. I'm guilty of that. I've done that. described something by using the French word for it just to make it sound fancier. Removing this board because we are getting out the chicken next. I'm just going to get that out of the way. I've tried to do everything before the chicken so that when I do the chicken, I can give it a wash. Give my hands a wash. Nylon board out for the chicken. And it is, in fact, another one of our vacuum-packed chicken thighs. This is my... I got a package of a whole bunch of these, and I packed them into these little rows of 3 because I figured that would be a good amount for doing recipes. Last time we cut one open, we just took one out, which was a little bit awkward, but it also makes it easier to reseal when they're narrow like this because you can reseal it the crossways. Okay. I was about to go wash my hands and then come back over here and immediately touch the chicken again. So these are boneless, skinless chicken thighs. So we can spread them out a little bit. To make them kind of flatter. I know, Ray doesn't like chicken thighs, but you know, now that you've got me thinking, maybe we could pound these guys out to make it nice and flat, to give us what we're poaching. Right, pounded flat chicken breast. If I was doing that with pork, I would call that tonkatsu. Right? Katsudon is that on top of a bowl of rice. I am washing my hands even though I haven't done much because I think I want to maybe not pound them completely flat, give them a little encouragement, get out the culinary hammer. What we're doing is we're getting out some elastic cling wrap. Which clings to itself, of course. Some cling wrap on the top of the chickens. And where's my little mallet? I want to hit this gently. Little mallet, where have you gone? Culinary mallets. And then we go just pound out the thick end. Because a chicken thigh always has one end that's kind of thick. I don't really want the other end to be that much any thinner. But we want to thin out that thick end a little bit. Putting the plastic wrap down keeps your culinary mallet clean. I have no idea what this mallet is actually intended for. It has a non-slip grip, but usually tenderizing mallets have some more weight to them, and a textured surface, and this has neither of those. Chicken thigh is the abomination of the cooking world. Well, eventually we'll get through them all, and then I can do things like tenders. I don't really like cooking chicken breast, but tenders are nice. Tenders are neat. Okay. I know it's hard to see from the top, but they are approximately the same thickness end to end now. So that will help them when it comes time to layer them. And my culinary mallet is clean and dry. So I will just put that directly back in the cupboard, or the drawer. Cupboards and drawers are the same thing. Our oven's hot whenever we need it. 1 minute on my rice, that's fine, we're not worried about that. We need to get out a big pot, or a shallow, wide pan. A shallow, wide pan. Shallow, wide pan. That's the rice. You use a rolling pin. I also have used a rolling pin. In this case, I wanted to control the area that I was hitting to only that little bit there. And the mallet is perfect for that. When I've done in the past a whole chicken breast, I have just whipped out the rolling pin. And a rolling pin is perfectly acceptable for like 99% of all uses, of all pounding needs. It's big, it's sturdy, it's got some weight to it. I use this guy usually, my French rolling pin, which, by the way, get yourself one of these. It is, in a very literal sense, just a round stick. But, boy, it's a real useful round stick. I like it a lot more than the kind with the little handles. Okay, start cooking. I want a little bit of flavor on those onions, so we're going to start off. We're going to slide over to the stove. We're going to start off with a little bit of olive oil. Heat on medium, and onion in. We're starting with the onion. You have a large meat mallet with a flat and grooved sides. Yes, that's usually what I see a like kitchen mallet, which is why I don't actually know what this one is for. It's too lightweight to be like a nut cracking mallet, because anything that you would need a hammer to crack would also be too sturdy for this mallet. And the fact that it's wood means I don't think it's meant for meat, because it would be hard to clean. You typically have a mallet that's not made out of a porous material, and then you can hit the meat directly without having to put the plastic wrap down, and then you can clean your thing. So I don't actually know what this is meant for. It has no... It's made by Iridu. It has no, like, name on it, the company. Iru... While those are heating up, I'm going to look stuff up. Iridu kitchen utensils. It's Trudeau, but their T is so stylized that you cannot tell it's a T. It's Trudeau, but the cross from the T is a swoosh that goes along the entire top length of the word. Trudeau, just like the Prime Minister of Canada. Okay, I found this exact thing. It is a seafood mallet designed to crack shells without shattering them. So it's lightweight intentionally. Well, there you go. We did a learn. We did a learn. Sometimes you just got to do a learn. Okay, heat down. Heat down and salt. Get the onion to express a little bit of moisture. Get our process started. Need to do a seafood boil. Exactly. Now you're thinking with portals. Huh? Let's see. This thing, I always forget how much you're supposed to use. The dashi. I always forget how much you're supposed to use per volume. Yeah, so I think I'm going to try to go a nice sort of chill cook today. I'm reasonably hungry, but I'm not like starving hungry. I'm even considering making a sauce while it's in the oven, just because we're going to be waiting for it in the oven for a time. Although we don't need it to be cooked super thoroughly through the way you would with like a regular one, because we're going to be pre-cooking all the filler ingredients, all the fillings, except for the bok choy. We could even do that. We could quickly wilt off the bok choy so that it goes in and lays neatly. I'm not sure what I'm looking for. I don't really want the. I suppose I'm looking for the onions to just brown a little bit. So let's go just a little bit. We're going to go for 5.5 on my dial, which is just 1 tick below medium. Or 1/2 tick below medium. It's too bad you don't like chicken thighs, right? I find them way easier to work with than any other bit of chicken. Although right now chicken is super expensive. I guess I wasn't paying attention because I've been working on mostly freezer meats lately. But man, chicken's gotten really expensive. When did that happen? Oh, this is a good opportunity for me to rinse off my parsley. Yeah, a little spider came out of it. So good shout on that. Has anyone else noticed chicken got real expensive? Because I sure didn't. I was looking today while I was brainstorming ideas. And I was surprised. Okay, we're getting little brown edges, so I'm going to say that's what I was looking for. And move on to the, let's rinse off the leeks as well. There was a little bit of dirt. There was a little bit of dirt. So we will just give them a quick rinse. And it's a little bit of moisture's ain't no problem here. Take our heat down a smidge. And now we don't want the leek to brown much at all. We want it to break down more. So I'm going to start by salting it. Yes, dirt, as in soil, as in the stuff that your vegetables grow in. Leeks and a couple other leafy things have a habit of picking up dirt in between the layers, things that are layered, like leeks, like bok choy. Because, of course, they emerge from underground, and in the process, they pick up little bits that get caught in between the layers. So there is often a little bit of soil in your bok choy, in your leeks, in... Top of my head, I can't think of other things, but it's a thing. Be aware of it. Dirt ain't bad for you. It's just kind of gritty. Okay, we're adding water because I want to more of simmer these and get the leeks really kind of breaking down. They will infuse their juices into the juice. We could even do more liquid than that and cook it off. In fact, we are going to do more liquid than that because I want them to be more immersed. So 2 cups. 2 cups water. So that my leeks don't poke out quite so much. And this is the stage when I'm adding my dashi. Which again, I forget exactly how much you're supposed to add, so I'm going to go with a teaspoon. Because they don't put the instructions, they have the instructions on their website. They never put it on their bottle for some reason. Actually, I will check. It's Ajinomoto. Ajinomoto dashi granules. 1 teaspoon makes 3 to 6 cups of dashi, depending on desired concentrations. So let's go with a ½ teaspoon. This is hondashi, which is essentially Japanese-style tuna stock. Push that around to make sure that they get a chance to dissolve. We also are adding some other flavors to this stage. We want... We are going to measure. I've measured everything else. I can actually put together a recipe if I measure stuff. Tablespoon of mirin. You can get non-alcoholic mirin if you want. I think the alcoholic mirin tastes better in the dishes that call for it. Bottle of sake. We're also adding some sake, which you cannot get non-alcoholic. Real mirin is got alcohol in it. That's just a thing. So also a tablespoon of sake. Sake and mirin are common additions to oyakodon because the the alcohol in East Asian cooking, alcohol is used to counteract the gaminess of certain meats. In this case, because you're using chicken thigh specifically, chicken thigh has a little bit more of that flavor to it. I don't think it's real strong, especially modern domestic chickens. But if you were using like a free-range chicken, you'd notice it. And they use alcohol to remove that gamey flavor. It's the same thing we talked about with the Shaoxing wine in China. So we could add some sake directly onto the chicken thighs that are sitting over there and just kind of let it evaporate on the surface. It's also a thing that you will encounter, that I've encountered, in Scandinavian cooking, specifically in the making, what you call it, gravlax. You're supposed to put a little bit of aquavit on the fish, both because aquavit has a flavor to it, but also because the alcohol pulls away some of the fishiness, which is especially important if you're doing cured raw fish. Any fishiness is going to stick with you. You're not going to be able to cook it out because you're not cooking it. Speaking of, actually, I happen to have a bottle of aquavit right here that I haven't even opened yet. We could add a little bit of aquavit. That might get us... My flavors are definitely hewing in the direction of Japan. But what if they didn't have to? I don't actually know what aquavit tastes like, so we are going to do a quick taste test while our leeks are simmering over there. And our chicken is going to move to the sink, because that's a safe place for it. Aquavit. By the State Line Distillery in that part of Wisconsin. I don't know what this stuff tastes like, so we're going to taste it. Ooh, it smells like licorice. I'm gonna pull half a shot. You can see the price tag. Don't look at the price tag. No, stop looking at my price tag. Get that off of there. I paid real money for it. It wasn't super. It was actually, that is the discount price, but it was still kind of expensive. Well, not that expensive. It was $18 for a whole bottle of alcohol. It's also very alcoholic. So oh, it's very alcoholic. Whew. Well, if I start acting weird, weirder than normal, I suppose, you'll know what to blame. It's tasty. It's it tastes like anise. It doesn't taste like. It tastes like anise. Anise forward, but not like really intense. It's a light anise flavor, but that's the only flavor that really comes through. But it feels a little bit more complex than maybe a straight anise liqueur. Let's do a comparison. Let's do a side by side while we're waiting for stuff to cook. This one was only $4 for a bottle of anisette, which is way less alcoholic. probably way less good. Where did I put the bottle? Impromptu anise alcohol taste test. Speaking of taste tests, oh, this would be a good opportunity for me to taste test this. I found another sriracha, and I managed to get a little sample cup of it instead of having to buy a whole bottle, so we can taste test that one. Okay, little dab of this stuff. Very similar odor. Aroma, I should say. Aroma, not odor. Okay, the difference is that one is sweet. That one tastes like licorice. Straight up licorice. Because it's that same anise flavor. It's that same anise flavor, but it's heavily sweetened. It's a liqueur. So you would not want to use that in the same places you would use this stuff, because this stuff is, I think it's just neutral spirit with an infusion of anise. I think I'm going to use that, actually, now that I've done these taste tests. Ugh. I'm not a big drinker, so that might come back to bite me. Having half a shot of 90 proof alcohol. But this might give us an interesting character if I let this flavor our chicken a little bit. Wash my hand. Our leeks and onions have come up to a simmer, and it is smelling very nice in here. So let's slide over. Drunken chicken. This is, not this specifically, but that's drunken, when you see drunken noodles on a menu or someplace, they put alcohol in the sauce. Then they cook the alcohol away, but they put some alcohol in the sauce. Part of the process. Especially since I'm working on a little bit of an empty stomach. Half a shot of aquavit might not have been the best idea. Okay, we want to simmer these down until the leeks are very soft. And we want to keep a decent amount of simmer going. We don't want to drop this to straight poach temperature, even though we're planning on poaching chicken in it, because I want to boil off some of this liquid. I want to concentrate this liquid. It smells really good, though. It's got a really meaty aroma to it, which is interesting because it's mostly vegetable. And that's no doubt coming from just that little bit of dashi that's in there, which is a savory, giving it a very savory element. We'll pepper the chicken after it's cooked, because otherwise the pepper will just wash off into this. Glacier, I should shout you out. I should shout you out. Get shouted. Glacier streams, if you're not aware. Frequently, later in the evening than I stream. All sorts of stuff. Games, but like all sorts of different games. Variety of games. A lot of that racing game that I can't remember the name of. Something rally car. Rally car something. Oblivion, the Oblivion remake, and lately the Oblivion. I definitely was not ready for a half a shot of alcohol. And what's the other one? It's Elden Ring. Of course, it's Elden Ring. I've seen you play Elden Ring. Check him out. Check him out. I know, you guys, like one of you in particular has repeatedly mentioned how entertaining it is for something to go wrong and for me to have to panic, problem solve. But sometimes I want a relaxing cook that I think is going to go right. So that's this one. Plus, it gives me more time to chat and not constantly be panicked about some thing I've done. That's going to simmer for a little bit longer yet, so let's slide over here. Our egg has largely combined. What's happened here is the yolk has floated on top of the white. So it's not all homogeneous, but there is a layer of yolk sitting on top of the white. I'm going to move that to the side. Because what I wanted to show off was this. 2 cups is about the limit of what this guy can reasonably handle. And I'd like to give our rice a taste test. Lightly chickened. It's lightly chickened, which is just what I wanted. It's also just a little bit on the dry side, which is also just what I wanted. They're not crunchy. They're cooked through, but they're just they're a little bit dente, a little bit al dente, which is perfect because they're going in. The function of the rice is to help protect the pastry from the wet ingredients that we're going to be putting inside of it. The rice will absorb the liquid that other things in there give off. So we don't want it to be sopping wet rice. We want it to be a little bit on the dente side. Well, these leeks are looking pretty soft. We could probably move on to... I'm also leaving the lid of that thing open so the rice can cool off a little bit before I need to use it. And actually, since it's not turned on anymore, we don't even have to keep it plugged in. We can move the whole shebang to save up a little room. Let's slide over here. I think I'm going to go on with chickens. Because then we can immediately wash that, wash my hands, and be done with raw chicken for the day. So the idea for the chickens, and pounding them thin will help with this, but the idea for the chickens was to take them and lay them on top of this. Which I have been referring to up to this point as poaching. But it might be more of a steaming action. We are going to wash both me and the board. always wash up after your chicken. Don't wait, do it right away. I'm gonna wash those scissors as well, actually, because they touched the chicken. And your hands. Ooh, wait. Half a shot of, it's been a long time since I took shots of anything. Half a shot of aquavit's a little bit much. I'm feeling a little bit jovial right now, if you know what I mean. Ooh. Okay. Okay, we're gonna give these guys a flip right away to help get loose leaks off the top. Give them all a flip right away to help push the heat through them a little bit more evenly. They haven't been there long enough to actually cook appreciably, but you can even see there's a cold spot right there. But I'm gonna nestle them down a little bit to get more of a poach going on them. And again, they don't need to be perfect. They just need to be cooked through. Someday he'll tell the story of getting hammered on aquavit at a dinner party. Well, if you're okay with it, you can tell the story right here in chat if you're okay with it. Otherwise, I look forward to hearing it. Either way, I look forward to hearing it. I will say, aquavit. I think that was my first time trying aquavit, like properly. It's very tasty. For how alcoholic it is, it doesn't taste very alcoholic. The anise flavor does a really good job, sort of taking the edge off of that strong alcohol, which is probably the point. The last time I made something that called for aquavit specifically, I didn't have any. I made gravlax, and instead of aquavit, I used gin, because I figured that was similar-ish. And it came out fine, but definitely not the same thing. Aquavit was one of those things that I would always look at the store and never get, because what I'm going to do with it. I don't know what to do with it. It's a very specific, weird thing. But when I saw one on sale at one point, I was just like, sure, I will add that to my collection of stuff. And so we added it to our collection of stuff. I am deciding right now, in the moment, we're going to saute off those baby bok choy pieces. Which means we need this front burner, because that's just going to simmer. I'm actually going to put the lid on that. I'm actually going to put the lid on that. We'll come back to that in a minute. pan, small dab of oil. Turn the heat up on that a little bit. Because I want these guys to be wilted rather than fresh when they go in. And we could blanch them. I don't think I want to blanch them. I think I'm going to give them a really quick toss in some oil instead. Get those dry spots oiled. Let that guy heat up a little bit. I'm not sure what else to chit-chat about right now. Don't have any. I just got a whole bunch of dry pot. Oh, I've got the bento lunchbox, which is neat. I haven't used it for anything yet, but it's neat. I got a whole bunch of fancy dry pasta because the Woodman's is clearancing fancy pasta. Fusilli Corti Bucati, number 108. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but it's a weird, fun shape. They're little corkscrews, but they're also a hollow tube that runs through the corkscrew. So that's going to be fun, eventually, for something. What else have we turned up lately? Stroopwafel? I got stroopwafel. That's not really a thing to show off because it's just stroopwafel, but that was fun. This one should be in the fridge. Join me over here. I can see the oil doing patterns and it flows like water, so we are just going to do this. A little bit of parsley got stuck in there too. The point of this is not to cook it super thoroughly. We're just wilting out the green bits and giving it a little bit of a head start on softening because it's going to go in and be baked. So and man, I love this pan. The pan that you can just go tossy toss. It's perfectly shaped for the tossy toss. There's a bit of advice here. Jovial advice of the day. Get yourself a pan that you can do this with. Oops. That you can throw stuff out the edge with. It's looking pretty wilted. Again, I don't want to cook these super thoroughly. I just wanted to wilt them off and get them started. They're actually going right back in the bowl that they were in to begin with. That guy there. This guy over here. The tossy toss. The toss. And then we can return this to where we found it. Oh, and it's boiling forcefully. Not what I intended. Taking the lid off so we don't do that. Let's get them flipped back. Same reason as before. We want to ensure that we're cooking them through relatively evenly. Little piece came off over here. I think I'm just gonna eat that. Throw it in that hot pan right there. Give it a little bit of a sear. Nibble on it. There are still some pink juices on the middle one right there. But that's the only one. The other ones have nice clear juice. So I think they are cooked. We could probably take them out now. In fact, we probably should take them out now. So because again, they're going to get another round of cooking. We don't need them to be mega thoroughly, in fact, we don't want them to be mega thoroughly cooked at this stage. We want them to be just cooked. Okay, and our leeks and onions can continue simmering for a bit. We can even add stuff to them now. I think we're going to cook the water down a little bit more before I add the egg. So our egg is going in this layer, as a reminder. Oh yeah, the leeks are very soft, so it's too juicy. This is too juicy to put in anything. I think I might need to strain it. And then I guess we could use the liquid for a sauce later. That might work. We're grinding up some pepper the old-fashioned way. Because we want to heavily pepper the chimkins. Okay, heavily peppered some chimkin. A little snack for me. There's too much liquid in there. So we're gonna troubleshoot. Because the leeks have softened up to the point where I want them. So I don't want to cook them out too much more. But if I pour all that liquid into our pie crust, our Coulibiac pastry, it's just going to cause trouble. Put that guy there. But it's also a shame to lose that liquid at the bottom. How are you looking? Okay. So I think we might turn that liquid at the bottom into some kind of a sauce. Into some manner of sauce. Let this really drain out. Okay, that should be good. We lost all the green from our leek. So I suppose it's good that we're adding other green things. This. Not 100% sure what I'm going to do with that, but something. Something. The egg. I didn't want to just do scrambled egg. You're supposed to sort of lightly cook the egg in the simmering liquid. The egg. Turn that off. Turn that there. Sorry, I'm brainstorming. I'm brainstorming kind of in my own head. I should be brainstorming out loud. I don't just want scrambled egg. I want it to be kind of shot through the stuff. So if I come back over here, add back our drained leeks and onions to our pan, spread them out, and kind of give it a smush so there's not big gaps. Because if I can prevent the egg from reaching the pan, we should just be able to get it to kind of set on the top here. Okay. You with me? Turn leftover liquid into a gravy to go with the Coulibiac. Won't they fill in the spaces like in a quiche? I don't want them to fill in the spaces like a quiche. That's the thing. Also, I can't just pour liquid egg into our pie because it's not a pie. It's flat. So anything liquid that goes onto it while I'm building it will just run away. What I want is for it to be sort of lightly set into this layer, into the leeks and onions, so that when I put this into our filling, the egg is part of it and doesn't run away on us. So I'm actually doing this right now with the heat off, just using residuals from the pan and the stuff. And I did kind of stir it in so we lost our potentially white and yolk stuff. And leftover liquid, okay. We could. The liquid is an infusion of leeks, onions, some chicken drippings, and our dashi. I could turn that into some manner of sauce. I was thinking of making a sauce anyways, because while it's in the oven, I'll have time to do something else. So I don't want this. No, there's some blobby white bits. It just needs to be set enough that it's not going to glob out when I put it, or run out when I put it into the filling. Yeah, okay, that's probably good enough. And I guess that means we're at the stage where I should do some filling. So I'm not going to be stupid about this. I almost just rolled it out here. And that would be dumb. That would be dumb. So we are rolling it up on the sheet pan directly. After I like into gravy. I had in my head for some reason a white sauce. But I suppose if I'm using onion dashi stuff, white sauce doesn't really link with that. We can play with that because this is going to have to go in the oven for an amount of time. This is pre-made dough, and I did open it up earlier just to see how it was. We do not need the whole thing. Oop. It might have gotten a smidge too warm while I was resting it here. I didn't want it to be completely fridge cold because it would be too soft. This is going to be both the bottom and the top of our pastry, though. We're seeing how much we've got to work with. Do not tear. Do not tear. Do not tear. Okay. Because what we're building is like a pouch. And I'm certain I've got more than I need for some of the elements, but that's okay. I suppose I could do it the long way and do like a fold that way, seal it in. What do we think? What do we think? What are we thinking? What indeed are we thinking? I was thinking I would cut this 1/3 and 2/3, have the 1/3 be the bottom and the 2/3 be the top so that I could dome it and still have enough to seal it with. And that was just based on my recollection of the chicken. That should work. I think that should work. So I am going to do that. Right, because then I can seal all the way around the outside, and I handled it too much. It sort of pulled itself apart a little bit. Oh well. Oh well, nothing I can do about that now. Handling it more is just going to make it worse, so we're not doing anything more with it. We're going to start layering up our cake here. Actually, while we're layering up our cake here, I'm going to take the other part and put it in the fridge just to firm up a little bit, because boy, did I over warm it. Okay, rice. The rice is definitely hotter than I intended at this stage. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It'll be 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 fine. Everything's fine. We're just baking a thing. Stop panicking. Only I'm allowed to panic. Okay, layer that, layer that, layer that. The third layer of that is the one that we don't have handy yet. It's the leeks and onions and eggs, which have juiced out a little bit, but they're not super bad. I'm gonna go at them with a spoon though, just to help control their distribution. Okay, okay, okay. We definitely have extra of those. And then we take our chickens and go kind of 1, 2, 3. I worry I made this too big. I worry I have made this too large. I definitely have too much rice. I definitely did not eat a lot of rice. I'll find a use for extra rice. That's no problem. But I definitely didn't need to make that much rice. We were going to put some parsley and some shiso. We're putting some shiso inside of the thing. That's a decision we have made. tuck our veggies, stretch our pastry a little bit on the edge. Try to give us enough skirt to seal it with. Our other pastry has cooled off a little bit. That's good, that's good. Should make it a little bit easier to work with in this, our hour of need. Okay. I did the thing where I did that thing. Okay, push the ends down. Nope, tore it a little bit on that side. We didn't have quite enough end to work with over there. Okay. Oh, right. Forgot this part. We take out our smallest regular old chicken egg. That bowl already only had egg in it. Wow, did that egg smash. I smashed it with duck egg force, and boy, it pulverized that chicken's egg. A little bit of cold water in there, I think. We're making an egg wash with just our hand. Two reasons. One, for sealing, we need the edges to be eggy. I don't think we're going to get a ton of puff. I think I've deflated our pastry a little bit here. Just by manhandling the stuff with my man hands. Okay. Boy, have I made a mess of the pastry on this thing. Whoa! Especially on this end. Especially on this end. Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. I'm going to do some really questionable stuff to it now. We're going to do some really... I didn't use any of that parsley. Going to do some really questionable stuff with it right now. Where's my scissors? Oh, scissors. Oh, I put them away. Feel free to question my method on this. It's not a good one. Not a good one at all. It's not how I would recommend doing it. I would recommend not doing it this way. We're using bits of puff pastry to patch up edges where my sealing has gone terribly wrong. And we are indeed rolling in the edges in addition to that. Don't know what to do with this extra bits. We're gonna just have it lay out and see what it does. I'm gonna bake it. Ooh boy, we made a mess. Oh boy, we made a mess. Okay, well, I made a mess. That was a decision that someone, not me, I don't take responsibility, made. We do need to cut a couple of vents in it. Decorative top. Sure. This is the kind of thing where you get sent home in round 1 of the British baking show. That top bit. Where's my brush? Oh, brush. Oh, brushy brush. Where have you gone? Let's see. What didn't we use that I got out? Chive, butter, parsley. We also have extra of a bunch of stuff. Okay, all of our filling is safe to eat, so all we need to do is bake this until it looks good on the outside. The pastry's done, so that's what we'll do. Now, that's what we're doing now. The package, Bookwoman is lurking. What time is it? 7 o'clock, damn. 30 minutes. For larger pastries, which is what we've got here. So, perfect. Oh boy. So, is your dinner as crazy as mine? I doubt it. I doubt it. I know what Bookwoman's dinner is. We're gonna do some quick tidying up. As you can see, the egg has not really well set with our leeks and onions, which is fine. It'll set as it heats. But for leftovers purposes, This stuff should be cooked a little bit more. So, heat on, we're going to cook it until it just sets. With the unused part of the bok choy. And then, I don't know, I can use that as a topping over our leftover rice. That's sort of a dish I can just slap together real quick. The rice is tasty. Tasty. Happy lurking, bookwoman. We always appreciate lurkers around here. You know, as long as I'm doing this. I should put the extra egg wash in there too. This is not a good pan for doing eggs. I will say that. I'm hoping that the way it is already par cooked will help it set without immediately sticking to the pan. Otherwise, stainless steel like this is not generally ideal for making eggs. They will want to stick. They will want to stick quite a lot. I actually got the heat on kind of low to, again, hopefully get them to set prior to them trying to stick, by just gently heating them into sort of a mass. This is not part of our recipe. This is just use up leftovers, or allow the use of the leftovers. Well, it's gonna be a long one today. We haven't done like a really long one in. Oh, I suppose we had one not too long ago that went pretty long. One of those disasters where I had to punt midway through. I think that one went long. This one for sure is going to be a little bit on the long side because of the baking time, which means we should do sauce. We're also going to keep stirring our egg stuff around here because it is already trying to adhere. Oh, boy. And we got to think about how we're going to turn the dripping juice there into a sauce. Speaking of dripping juice, the chicken plate with all the extra pepper, I'm going to put that in there. We're going to say it's going to be some kind of peppery sauce. That burner's not on, so I don't worry about that one. We are developing some set curds in this. Again, I'm just trying to get this to the point where I can set it aside and have reasonable leftovers for tomorrow. Partially cooked eggs are not great to put away. really don't want to waste any of this stuff. So what we're doing is kind of a fold in on itself, try to make the mass large enough that it gently heats without there being like real thin parts. That'll cook fast and stick. What are we going to do with that cut chives and cut parsley? Switching gears, we're bringing this guy over here. Bring this guy over here. We turn the heat on. We can throw flavors at this. Do we make a cream sauce, or do we just make a set gravy? I should taste this stuff. See what we're working with. Oh, that's really tasty. We absolutely cannot waste this. Oh, that's really tasty. What do I add to that to make it sing? It's already singing. That's the thing. I don't really need to add. We might literally just set that into a gravy. We might do literally what Rayuya said and just take that as is and gravyify it. Yeah, I'm not going to add. It's a thing. It's a thing. Did I just hear a fly? These flies always come out when I cook. It's rich and tasty, and I'm just going to take some. That is a fly. Why do the flies always come out when I cook? I haven't seen a fly in weeks. I'm cooking fly. We could throw some herbs in it. We could throw the chives in here, make it like a green gravy. Well, not green, but like, you know, gravy with green bits in it. Our egg mass over here is sticking. Looks about like I would stop cooking it though, so we'll do that. So that was some cornstarch and water I added to it. We're just going to attempt to force it to thicken up. There's a fly in here. Where did this fly come from? The chives that we didn't use, I'm going to dice them up and put them in there. You guys should be over here while I'm doing that. Because it already is a very allium-flavored liquid between the onion and the leek. So I think adding more of that angle, and then chives will give a visual pop to it with the little green specks. I do not have any mushrooms. I opted to, I've got some dry mushrooms, I suppose. I opted to not do mushrooms for the Coulibiac, which often call for mushrooms in the same way that a beef Wellington calls for mushrooms. Okay, we just want this to kind of thicken up a little bit. We might dive in with a little bit of extra cornstarch if we need to. Because I am just going to force this. We're just going to force this thing. The tiny bowl. Where did I put the tiny bowl? Where did I put the tiny bowl? There. There I put the tiny bowl. Because it's going to end up like a clear sauce, which is not normal. Because of the way cornstarch kind of doesn't stay super visible. No more starch. We're just going to cook it down from this stage. We should retaste. Make sure I haven't screwed it up. Still tastes pretty good. Still tastes pretty good. Our egg and veggie mixture should go into a container. And then directly into the fridge. Since I'm definitely not eating that today. In fact, I'm just going to create a lunch out of it immediately. We're going to take a big dose of our rice right into that storage jar, storage container. Don't boil your spatula. It's not good for it. Okay, that's going to simmer for a little bit. that is going to be my lunch probably tomorrow. That is going to be my lunch probably tomorrow. Put that there. Okay. This is not thickening as I thought it might. Granted, the cornstarch trick doesn't really work for large volumes. It's not what you're meant to do, but I thought this might have been a small enough volume for it to work. Didn't work. The option is to build a proper roux on the side and pour this into it, which would definitely work. Make a burrito out of the lunch mix. We could make a burrito out of the lunch mix. I have some burrito tortillas. That could be on the table. That stuff. That stuff, that stuff, that stuff. It's too watery to be a sauce right now. Yeah, okay. I don't want to simmer it to death, so I am going to just hit it with a roux. It will roux the day. Quantities? I don't know. Some. Some amount. This one is much lower temperature and there's no cheese in it, so we shouldn't have any problems with this one suddenly proving how bad a chef I am in splitting, but you know, that's always an option. The weirdest thing about all this, the whole Twitch channel, all you guys, all the people I post to on Discord, is how y'all seem to think I'm a good chef. Have you seen the nonsense? I mean, clearly not. Oh boy. Okay. We're making a very tiny roux here. For a small sauce. Okay, now, should have done that from the start, because now we're thickening into a kind of strangely colored sauce, but just do it right the first time. Literally just that fast when you do it right the first time. And we're getting, could stand to cook down a little bit. You know, that butter might have taken the edge off of it in a way that I don't entirely love, but we will let that thicken up a little bit. We will remove this to here. That's going to want some water in it. And then that can be where all of our random odds and ends go as well. Just put the pot in the sink, fill it with water, and then all the like small dishes can go in it. That way that they don't, nothing hardens or dries out while I'm doing other stuff. A little bit of a quick pre-soak on the dishes. Stack, stack, stack. Yeah, okay. We honestly didn't make as bad of a mess as I had feared we might, based on all the nonsense that I had in my head. I could still stand to be a little bit thicker, but I think it'll thicken up as it cools, so I don't want to push it anymore. So I'll just let that coast at the moment. How long has that been in there? 27-ish minutes. Should we take a peek at our Coulibiac? One of our decorative toppers has just kind of fallen off the side. Classic. Classic me. It's getting a nice golden brown, definitely from the egg wash. We can remove this pot. We don't need that one there anymore. That is off. That one is off. Everybody's off, 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 off. Actually, it doesn't need to even go there. We can put that guy there. Let these two cool off a little bit before I pull our... yes, of course I have a temperature thermometer. A thermotemperature. Although, remember, all the stuff I put into it was cooked. So it should be just a matter of getting the pastry cooked. There's also convenient vent holes, so we don't even have to pierce the pastry to check it. That's what it looks like. One of our decorative things kind of fell off the side. The other one kind of just got absorbed into the surface. So the decorative toppers didn't really work. That's fine. If we punch the middle of this guy, ooh, he's at 170. He's at 170 right there. Check this one. I mean, we're working with chicken. actually a little bit cooler on that end. 163, 164. Takes a second for it to catch up, so it's probably just barely there. We could put it in for another 5 minutes and rotate it and take these off because they're going to burn if they're any longer. Just bits of pastry crust. I can take it and put it in for just a little bit longer. But otherwise, 165 is what we're looking at. That one side just being like 2 degrees below means I probably should poke it just a little bit longer. But yeah, I think we're on pace for it, which is helped by the fact that most of the filling was also hot when it went in, or at least warm, so it didn't have to push from the exterior to the middle, trying to get everything up from cold or even room temp. Most of that stuff was actively like still hot. The rice, especially when I got below the surface layer, was like hot on my fingers still. So yeah, just like another couple of minutes, just a few minutes should be all it needs. Let's see. That clears bok choy pie pastry, duck eggs, chicken from my overstock. Yeah. Yeah. Exciting stuff. And then I've got a plate for you. I picked up some new plates. And I've got one that I want to use here. And another one that you're going to have to wait and see because it's very striking, but I do not think it is appropriate for this particular dish. So it's going to have to wait in the wings. This plate is going to be our plate today. It has a decorative crescent moon on the one side. Oh yeah, our sauce has thickened. It's interestingly kind of a still transparent sauce. That needs to be washed, but only a little bit. Collecting. The knife. The knife can be used to cut the... Oh no, you should use a serrated knife. We should use a serrated knife. You should use a serrated knife to cut pastry because otherwise you will crush the pastry. Which isn't ideal. It's been a couple of minutes. I'm going to give our thing a poke again. Because again, we were just like 2 degrees off. And only on one side. Yeah, we're good there. We're even warmer in the middle than on the end, which is very strange. And we're good there. Okay, we're good. We're good on all ports. All ports are good. We're good. This is what the thing looks like. And this is what the thing looks like from the other side. Oh, and we didn't stick, interestingly, at all. I think I might want to take a picture of this pre-slicing, just in case I completely make a mess of it. And it needs to cool off a little bit anyways, because it's hot. So let's grab a snap. Ooh, that lighting is not ideal. That lighting is not what I like to see. I'm impressed how it didn't stick at all. I want to get it on this board. I want to put it on this board. For photography purposes. The fact that it did not stick at all is very good. It's also got structural integrity. Oh, dang. Shout out to the brand of this puff pastry that we used, which is called Just Roll. Just Roll. Quality stuff. Considering that I did not respect its use-by date, it still worked great and abused it badly. Eating some rice here. Abused it badly by getting the temperatures on it wrong. Performed really well. Okay. Delicious. Oh, God. Delicious rice. This guy, as is going in the other room. We're going to take a picture of him, and then we're going to bring him back, slice him up. Bring him back, slice him up, sauce him, give him a taste, all that good stuff. Okay, coming back. Coming back. Still got parsley and some shiso that we need to do something with. Decorative plating, I'm guessing, is where I'm going to end up with for the both of them. I cut that parsley with the intent of putting some parsley inside the thing, and then I did not do that. Plate at the ready. I want to take a piece like right over this vent, because I remember the chickens were in there in kind of a T-bone, one like this, and the middle one was the long way because it was the biggest one. But I think for cross-section purposes, getting a chunk like right out here would look the best. Oof, look at that. You can't see it yet, but you're gonna. Other way. Other way because of the chicken. One slice, two slices. Two slices. What do you think? One slice, two slices. They're pretty thick slices. I'm going to tidy up the plate around that one slice while we think about it. Ryu says 2. Bob says 2. Hi, Bob. Bob, you're here in time for the exciting this part. the part when we do this part. The pastry is cracklingly delightful. You've been here since the thumping outside. I know how to soup. 1 for presentation, 2 for eating. Put one at an angle on the other. Now, putting them on top of each other is going to be a little bit awkward because the pastry is kind of rigid and this is quite a thick slice. So they're not going to rest really well. But I can maybe take a thinner second slice and try that way. Also, hi, I know how to soup. Oop. Taking a thinner one has caused the slice to disintegrate entirely, which is not ideal. Bob thinks I make beautiful food. I disagree. If I can't get a nice clean slice for a second slice, we're not going to put a second slice on because it won't look good. Tuck the end against the, yeah, smart. Or I could actually cut a thin piece right there. You'd never be able to see the bottom part, and I'd get potentially a good top bit. That fail slice, don't drop stuff, it's gonna have to get ugh. Well, I guess we can taste that one. It's a little tricky. It's a little tricky to slice, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie to you this time. Usually I lie. Usually nothing but lies. All the things I say, pack of lies. Try this side. I hate to say it, I think the attempt at decorative topping bits with the extra pastry has so damaged the integrity of the top. It's hard to get a clean slice out of it, but I did manage to at least not completely shatter that one. It's going to be like that. I don't have an option to prop it up. They're not strong enough for that. They lack the structural strength for that. Nope, the oven's still on. Don't need that. Be off, oven. Okay. Move that to the side. Bring to the center. So one's going to be up, one's going to be to the side, on the side because they can't rest on top of each other. They're not strong. They're not strong enough. We are going to attempt to sauce the plate. I like this plate. I saw this plate and was like, ooh, that would be a nice service plate for something. And I'm using it immediately. Getting the crumbs off of the plate though. Okay, our sauce has greatly thickened. It's actually gone slightly lumpy on me. But as I predicted, as it cooled off, it thickened up a lot more. You know me. Can't resist. I can't resist some fancy, stupid plating. Can't resist some just nonsense plating. Ugh. Close enough. Nonsense. That was nonsense. Taking a picture of it. How do I do this? How do I do this? Come on. Sometimes my camera doesn't want to, the button pushes and it doesn't take a picture. Well, thank you, and welcome back from Lurk. Time has gotten away from me a little bit, but that's fine. That's fine. We are on to everyone's favorite part. The tasting. So let's see what we got. I'm not even sure exactly where I want to start, where I want to risk digging in on this thing. Wow, it fell apart the instant I tried to break into it. Pastry bottom's a little bit soft. And it's a little bit chewy as well. I definitely think I over-warmed it and over-handled it. We didn't get quite the puff that you're supposed to. It also passed its use-by date, so that's no doubt also hurting it. Other than that, the flavor of the pastry is really good. Light and buttery, savory. It's got a really good crispy surface to it, at least. On the top it does. The whole thing has come out kind of on the mild side. I can try another way. There's definitely a peppery punch to it. It's not massively salty, which is not a soggy bottom, but it's definitely not crisp on the bottom. It's sort of in between, just kind of soft. There was a lot of pastry in the little corner bit that kind of overwhelmed the flavor. Once I got to the middle, I'm tasting the fillings more. Pepper forward, but also chickeny. There's a little bit of bitterness from the bok choy. Which is otherwise kind of a nice, light, tender, vegetable-y flavor. There's a surprising sort of late punch of the shiso, which again, if you've never tasted shiso, it's incredibly hard to describe what it tastes like. It's this complex, herby flavor that comes in late. It comes in really late, but it's really prominent for when it comes in. It's really nice. I can't really taste the rice, but again, the rice was only lightly chickened, and I think all it's doing here is, I bet you if it wasn't there, we would have a soggy bottom. It was there to help protect the bottom from becoming a soggy bottom. I can also see, I don't know how well you can see, within the rice, there's quite a lot of egg. The egg from the leek and onion mixture definitely was still liquidy enough that it ran down into the rice, and the rice caught it, and it set down there. So good thing we had the rice there. Otherwise, the rice is just lightly savory, and again, it's serving a practical function here, not a taste function. So I'm not surprised that I can't really taste it. Probably adding a little bit to the overall complexity. I'm not getting much from the dashi flavors, but most of the dashi ended up in our sauce. And we haven't really tried this with the sauce yet, so let's take a bit of everything. And drag it through the sauce. The sauce is just like lightly savory. There's that shiso punch again. Oh, that's such a nice inclusion because it gives you these little fun punches. I gotta cook with more shiso. That stuff is great. That stuff is delicious. That sounds kind of bitter. Works really well with stuff. The sauce ended up kind of tasting like a soup. It's not real strong, but it's got good complexity. It's got some sweetness to it. It's got some savoriness to it, but it's like light, which is nice. Everything on here is kind of skewing towards light. I am impressed that despite how much I was sort of following Asian flavors, this does not taste like an Asian dish at all. It tastes very Eastern European. hearty, but not like really intensely flavored, but with a few like punchy things that are coming out at you, the pepper and the shiso. It's good. It tastes really hearty, but it doesn't like feel super heavy. It's really easy to eat. I like it. I like it. I don't have much more to say about it. I went all out on the plating because Wellington is fancy, and this is like second cousin to Wellington. This stuff. Well, when you get a piece of that leek mixture by itself, it tastes like leek. It's just not real strong, so it's just kind of, it's not jumping out when you have everything else in there, but it's definitely in there. Well, okay then. We are just shy of 3 hours, and it looks like I did have a little bit of a frame blip at some point. Just shy of 3 hours. I am going to add more sauce to this as I eat it because I think it works really well with the sauce. It's not very dry though, so I don't want to like douse it. It's not like it needs sauce for that purpose. Well, I hope everybody had fun. I did anticipate this one to be maybe a little bit of a longer one. Glad you guys could stick with me to the end. I see not everyone has stuck with me to the end. We are going to wrap up and send you guys off somewhere now. Let's see who's available at this late hour. Our friendly chef, room and board, is at 2 hours. That's probably not going to be there much longer. So we can check out somebody else who might be on a little bit. Buffet's never on anymore when I go looking for her. Squirrel! Okay, we're going to go raid Snow Squirrel, who has just made affiliate. Oh, well, we're going to go see somebody else right now. We're going to go raid Snow Squirrel, who I know from other people's chats. And she has just made affiliate. So we're going to go help celebrate her making of affiliate. She's currently playing Minecraft Classic. And yeah, Ryu's got us hooked up with the raid messages if you care to, the dancing dinos for non-subs, and the little happy faces for the subs. I know how to soup. Thanks for sticking around. Thank you for the compliment. Have a good night, or stick with us, your choice. How do you think it would work with a nice lemonade to drink? I think it would be... I'm not a big lemonade drinker. It gives me acid problems. So probably quite tasty, but then I would be unhappy about it afterwards, personally. Yeah, so we'll all go say hi to Snow Squirrel. Celebrate along. I'll see you next time. Bye. I don't know why I'm doing this.